prefer to watch in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ambassador Call 10/31/19. We got our Halloween holiday festival here. We got a lot of good stuff to talk on this call. So many topics. We're going to try to fit a lot into an hour, and we want to be respectful of everybody's holiday time. I'm sure people are going to have trick-or-treaters coming to the door. So, you know, if you have to step away, step away. I think I'm going to start off with Jackie. Do you want to take us off on our little ride here through our bullet point announcements? I think first up, we're going to go into a little software talk.
Sure. So we have some updates on the version 7 software that everybody's been waiting for, and they're fabulous. Version 7 has been tested, and we do have a working version, which we're thrilled about. It's fabulous. We are loading version 7 today on tablets as we speak to ship with new devices. So those are going out and moving forward. We are close to complete in testing version 7 for all 3.0 users, and we'll inform everybody when this update is available for download. Following that, we're going to be releasing version 7 to the existing Samsung users. So not the new tablet, but everybody who's got an existing Samsung. And again, we'll inform everybody when this is available. That, of course, will work with your 2.0. And then your tracker, which will be wonderful. And then updates for ASUS users will follow shortly after the Samsung update. So as we've been talking about, we're going to be rolling this out. And for each release, we have in our database which system you have. We'll let you know when the update's available for you, and then you'll download it. We know that you're going to be really, really happy with the software. And as everybody knows, it's been a little bit crazy out in California, a lot of wind, a lot of dry heat and fire. And despite the fires and the power failures, our team has been working tirelessly and around the clock to overcome these obstacles and to move our software updates and shipping forward. We are still shipping devices, and huge love and respect for everybody on the team that's just showing up absolutely incredibly in some really challenging environmental situations. So that's wonderful. And just to follow up on version 7, so of course, as we've been saying, the rollout is going to happen depending on your device and tablet type. 3.0 is first. And because our development naturally started on the newest device, and we're now calibrating across all the devices, we talked about on our last call, and as per your feedback, we are going to roll out one by one in the weeks ahead, and really appreciate the feedback that came back on the last call that allowed us to work with you. Most importantly, version 7 will provide a consistent experience for all users across all platforms. And we deeply appreciate your patience and are excited about our progress in the face of all the significant challenges from Mother Nature and Pacific Gas and Electric. So that's what's been happening out there.
Aaron, you're got a good audio check in for us. I just wondered if you couldn't just add in a little bit. One thing that I've been witnessing from New York City is we've literally had people driving 2 hours, 3 hours, whether it was to get gas or get a generator, or whether it was to pick up tablets or audio cords that had to be shipped to a town 2 hours away just to keep shipping over the last 2 weeks. I know you've been in the middle of it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Jackie, thank you for the segue. And I just wanted to, really say how interesting it is. And, we live in a small town in the Sierra foothills just below Lake Tahoe. And we've had power, I believe, 5 out of the last 15 days. And, you really get to learn how people show up when people don't have basic needs that we're used to in modern society. And so, when I hear all this and know what we've just gone through over the last couple of weeks, it really speaks to the community that we're really wanting to champion here at AmpCoil and the whole community circle concept, and just remind everybody that no matter how challenging things get, the best way we get through all of this, whether it's related to something we're doing within our company or something that's an outside circumstance, is band together. And so we got to really experience that and watch how that took place over the last couple of weeks. And I mean, we had one house that was not near our headquarters where we literally had like 8 team members working out of off one supply system to get all this done. And that's how committed we were when nobody else had power within 100 miles of any direction of us. And I'm just bringing this up because there's a lot of misconceptions about how our company operates. And do we always have as many resources as maybe some of these massive companies like Apple do? We don't, not yet. But just know that from a heart-centered standpoint and the mission that we're on to really stop the needless suffering in the world, we know that we're leading the way on this. And I just want to remind everybody that the more we find ways to band together to, really uplift not only what we're doing as a company, but society around us, whether we're going through power failures or own individual health crises, whatever it may be, that we find ways to stick together. And that's really what we're all about. And these last couple of weeks has really reminded us how important that is, especially with some of the other things that are more chaotic in politics that we're all aware of that I don't think we want to get into on this call. So it's just, power to the people. We're here to help serve people on a level that maybe they've never been served before. And I appreciate everybody's patience in, saying yes to this mission and working with us through the trials and tribulations to get to the other side. Because, we really see a beautiful sunset for everybody that says yes to this as we continue to move forward. So anything else I say is probably going to get me choked up and cause a grown man to cry. But I'm just deeply, deeply committed and grateful for everyone on this call. I'm super excited to make sure that everybody knows about this beautiful promotion we put together, which I think we're going to get into here next. And it's really just about continuing to pay it forward. So big love, big hugs from my heart to yours. And let's just all band together and bring out the best in all of us.
Thank you, Aaron. Jackie, I'm going to turn it over to you. We're going to talk a little bit about this promotion. Do you want me to share a screen, or would you like to?
You can share the screen. I do not.
All right.
That's set up.
All right.
So,
go for it.
Wonderful. So on our last call, we launched a lovely promotion. Do you have the screen sharing, Freddie?
I do. Yep.
Okay, great. And that's taken off. We've already got people who are earning some of those rewards, which is fabulous. And that promotion, as we launched it, if you have a referral, you're going to receive one of the new Samsung Tab A's, and that will have the new version 7 software on it. So fabulous to use with any device that you have going forward, as well as to have as a backup, because we know that the tablets have a limited lifespan and at some point they'll need to be replaced. But we've got a beautiful expansion on this promotion. It's going to run through the end of November. So just want to go through it with everybody. This will also come to you in an email shortly following this call, and it will be available in the Ambassador portal in the Help Center. So you can access this information whenever you need it. So Tier 1, go out, sell a device, refer somebody, they purchase a device, you get the new Samsung Tab A. Tier 2, if you sell 2 devices, in addition to the Samsung Tab A, you also get an AmpCoil 2.0 to use with family and potentially people who you're really close to, who you love. And all of the details about how that works will be in the email that we send you. Tier 3, have 3 referrals by November 30th, and you can trade in whatever existing device you have for a brand new 3.0B. And those are wonderful and stunning and really lightweight, easy to move around with, fabulous devices. And if you hit the 4 and you do 4 referrals and those move through to purchase, you get to keep the device you have, and you will earn a brand new AmpCoil 3.0B in addition to the device that you have. So fabulous, fabulous opportunity. There are some additional, there'll be additional information in the email. And if you are somebody who's really driven and you sell more than the 4 devices, you'll earn everything that you do when you sell the 4, and then that starts again. So you've got the opportunity to continue to do referrals, and we have had ambassadors who've done significant referrals in a month. So beautiful opportunity to get involved, share the technology, and earn some wonderful, wonderful benefits for yourself and those you love. Freddie, can't hear you. You're on mute.
I muted myself and totally forgot. So as Jackie, I'm just talking. So as Jackie said, that'll follow with everything, all the details, all the black and white. That'll come out at 6:35 immediately following the call to your email box. Same ambassador email, same format with all the details on that promotion. And I think Jackie,
Question
go ahead.
Answer because it's related to what we just talked about. So question.
Yes.
Tier 2, is AmpCoil 2.0 to use? Is that to borrow for a certain period of time, or is it to keep? The answer is that is yours to keep. So if you have 2 referrals that purchase devices, you will receive an AmpCoil 2.0 for you to keep. It's a fabulous second unit for yourself. You can share it with friends and family that you love. They'll be registered to you, and you'll have to wait a year. So they're not available to sell, but you're welcome to give it to people that you know and love. And all of the details will be in the email that you get. Fabulous, fabulous opportunity. I would love actually to do that and get them out to my kids. Would be awesome.
So, and Lynn, I think your question about time frame. This currently right now, this is scheduled to go to November 30th. Mm-hmm. That's when the referrals would need to be in by. And I think those are our 2 questions. If anybody else has questions about it, like we said, that all the details are written out in black and white. You'll get an email immediately following the call. And unless we have anything else, we're gonna keep pushing on because we got a lot of stuff to cover here today. You good, Jackie?
I'm good.
Okay, great. So the other thing
I think Freddie, if we can maybe just take everybody off mic, because this is exciting. It at least is to me. I mean, gosh, if I'm a promoter, I'm super excited about this promotion. It's definitely the most generous we've ever given. So maybe there's a few people that would like to throw a few cheers or ask a quick positive question about what this promotion really means.
Well, I've been screaming in my office. I've just been muted, but I've been running around my office screaming and celebrating. So I am celebrating over here in Grass Valley with y'all.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you, Corinne. Yeah, you can always hit *6 to unmute. The only reason I fail to unmute all 60 callers is that it's an audio nightmare of feedback. But you guys can put anything in the chat you want. And we'll also, as we always do, we'll open up the call at the end. We can talk about any of these things. Thank you, Corinne, for your love and support. I know Sarah Banta, you're going to be gunning for one of these devices.
Say that again, Freddie. Sorry.
I said I know you're going to be gunning for one of these promotional elements, and you'll be very close.
Well, I'm trying, but are people going to pull the trigger? I can only lead a horse to water.
That's the best way to go. And when it's right and people feel motivated and the time is right, AmpCoil finds their way into their lives. So
yeah, yep.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah.
Uh-huh.
All right, team. I'm going to unmute Kathy and Laura for a second. I see them peering in. What do we say, ladies?
I'd say thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
I think it's an amazing promotion. It's very exciting.
Awesome.
I love the way that you can really share it with other people.
Yeah.
So that if you already have.
I think as we were mulling this over and standing in creation of how this would work and how it would roll out, the idea that you can just earn a device for just 2 referrals to gift to a family member, which is how many people on the call? 51 people have said, "Oh, I wish I could gift a device to my brother who's not really aligned with this journey towards wellness." And what a shift that would make if they were to just use this 3 times a week. Totally. I'm sure we all have that person out there.
Or people that are just close to you but you can't lend them your device,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Amazing. Well, I want to keep moving on because it's 5:50 again. I want to be respectful of everybody's trick-or-treaters out there. So the next place we're going to go, the next place we're going to move to, let me just bring up one more screen share here from Safari. Beautiful. And like we said before in our little, if you didn't watch it, there was a teaser for this call. Let's find this here. Beautiful. And one more screen share. All the buttons. And one of our dreams, one of my dreams, as I mentioned this on the last call, has been to do an unboxing for every single human who purchases an AmpCoil. There was a girl who bought a coil and it sat in her house for a month and a half. She was scared to unbox it. And finally, she had an opportunity to come over. We opened it, set up the better guide, ran her first journey. She was like, this is amazing. I said, I know, I wish I could do this for everybody. So kind of created this onboarding process. We're going to start doing live calls every single week to any referrals. Anybody you have that buys a device, we're going to do a live webinar, and they'll be invited through Zoom to walk through a setup, the initial tablet setup, device setup, and walk through their first few months of coiling with a calendar. So we're just going to show you guys a little snippet of this. I think, Lori, I'm just going to ask you to chime in where you did, and we'll really move through it. I just want you guys to get an idea of there's that learning curve of how you're going to work with the device, not work at the device like an obstacle. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start this little presentation here. And I'm going to
Freddie, while you're doing that,
yes.
let's just, the one thing is that you should know when you're looking at this is that all of the training material from now on will be working with a different quick start, because the cleanses changed and a few things have changed and some of our recommendations have changed, that the stuff you're going to see here, you know, is all relative to the new quick start. So once you get a notice that you're getting an update, that's when you want to go to the Help Center and download the new quick start guide for it. I think it'll say 6.0, 0.2.5 and above. And you'll notice, yeah, as we go through this, it'll change a little bit. It'll be, the new quick start guide is great, and it's all color coded, and it's pretty easy. And meanwhile, can you guys all see my shirt?
We're half there. We're starting to get
screen
it all put
sharing.
together.
We're going to get back there, Lori.
Okay.
We'll get back there.
It's pretty,
so
I'm pretty psychedelic here today, so.
I can't wait for that
Good.
shirt share later on in the call.
Yeah.
So as we're moving through this, we're just gonna start. The outline of this is going through quick start download, the system setup, better guide software, rejuvenating journeys, general detox, and user experience, and working with support. So right away, you know, you're going to go to ampcoil.com. You're going to use your password AmpCoil1. We all know how to do this to log in to download that guide. You're going to click on the Better Guide tab in Help Center and download Quick Start Guide 6.60. That will change as we evolve guides. And when we're moving through here, really the recommendation is always to print the guide, 3-ring binder. Like any technology, understanding the manual is going to deliver a better user experience, be it a flat screen TV, an ionic foot bath, or an infrared sauna. Showing is knowing. We're going to show people where to locate the setup videos in the AmpCoil Help Center. That's Help Center, Magnetic Check, Sound Check, Device Setup. In addition, we want to implore people to take the proper time to set up the device. So there's multiple videos in the Help Center to set up your device currently. We'll direct everybody to those. The process is unbox that tablet and charge it to 100%. Connect that magnetic coil to the amplifier. Identify that standard audio cord. Connect to the tablet, connect to the device. It's time to power on your system. And you're going to notice some additional items in your box: a magnet, a digital USB, some extra fuses. We're going to go over these at the end of the call, when and where you'll need them in the presentation. Pretty much now we're all set. We're ready to coil. Now we're moving through this because everybody on here owns a device and we know what it is. But just to get an idea, if you were a new user, what would this feel like? Recommendation to always run that sound check on the initial setup. There's a video on running a sound check in that help center, and after the initial journey, you can know that every single journey is going to have a sound check built into the program to ensure you experience AmpCoil the way it was meant to be experienced. Other things to know that people always call into support about is, you can touch that icon in the top right-hand corner of your Better Guide. You can scroll down to settings, and within there is where you locate the end of journey dong. I can't tell you how many times I get that question. You can drag that volume up so when the session's over, you're going to know. Another thing is in that main menu area, locating that cleanse history. Again, we're not to cleanses yet. That's another topic for later in your AmpCoil experience. A little bit about volume on the AmpCoil 6060. And the above has been designed to run on general use or gentle volume settings. Most people are fine with general. Lori, do you want to talk a little bit about the differential for the general and the gentle settings?
Sure. We'll just keep this really simple.
Really simple.
General use is for most people, and gentle is for those really electrically sensitive or dose sensitive. The goal is to get to general. So if you start on general, you find it's too much for you, go down to gentle. If you start on gentle and you, after about a couple hours after doing, a good demo harmonizer where you feel great, you start to kind of lose that feeling, you know that it's time to move up to general. So the way that the volumes are designed now and the way that the program is designed is that it's going to bring everybody up to that general use. It's going to change the magnetics in the body so that, instead of becoming more sensitive, you actually fall more into the general use program for everybody.
Beautiful.
So that's what we're finding anyways.
And here we are to, again, working through AmpCoil. I know Lori hears this. I hear this all the time as people get lost. They get lost on the path on how to use a device. It's either lost down, you're stuck in just rejuvenating land, or you go to cleanse too fast, or you get lost in the general detox. And really what it's about is going into that quick start guide and identifying your avatar that's now color coded in the quick start guide. So it's wellness, it's immunocompromised, or you're a sensitive human being. It's okay. Whichever one you are, this wellness, this is your general person coming to AmpCoil who's just looking to be well. You're immunocompromised. That could be a loaded medium detox potential. And again, this is where a majority of our users live. And then we have our sensitive people. So for highly immunocompromised people where a higher than normal detox response reaction occurs when taking an ionic foot bath, a sauna, or another healing modality. Also children and the elderly could be in this category. So once you've got that nailed down, you've got to know that you could always have the potential to change paths. As you move through any of these flowcharts in the quick start, there's an option to throttle up or slow down based on how your body handles frequency. The AmpCoil is simple, the body is complicated. So we want to work with that notion. We have our basic coiling tips here. I'm going to move through these. You know these. Water, where to place the coil. Place the coil away from metal plates, pins, screws, mercury filling stents, or implants. Definitely a good point. Coiling tips, 75 minutes a day now. Cleansing journeys, no more than 3 times a week. 2 days off a week. This is big. We hear this a lot, but 2 full days. No restorative, no cleansing, no general, no nothing. Just 2 days without the coil, even though it's tempting. So let's run through. I just want to give you an example, what it looks like to move through the green path. And this is straight from the guide. It's color-coded, and I think this will be real helpful to new users, especially some of you that are renting out devices, and it's like, here you go. This would be a great thing to have those human beings watch. So it's 7 steps. You're going to follow the little guide here all the way up the ladder until you move forward. Number 1 is nutrition. In the nutrition album, that new nutrition tune-up is 30 minutes and 29 seconds. Next day, you're on to step 2. Now we're in a rejuvenation land, 2 to 3 days of rejuvenating. This allows you to introduce frequency in the body and determine any reactions that may indicate a slower or a faster path. So it's 1 journey a day and 3 times a week as tolerated. We're going to go over what the rejuvenating journeys are, exactly what the picture is, so you cannot mess this one up. Please note, rejuvenating are journeys other than organs, general detox, or cleanses that don't contain the detox code. So the two common cold journeys and the pain, they can be played, but no, they have slight detox codes that could cause a slight reaction in sensitive coilers. So we're back to step 3. We're at nutrition. We're going to do this one more time. And then if you wanted to repeat that rejuvenating week, you could, but most people are going to move on to general detox. And so we go through the recommendations of general detox here, what it is, the fact that you don't really need to use the voice analysis at this point in your journey. It's about working through this program. And this general detox works by harmonizing the frequency of the general microbes, metals, and toxins associated with these individual organ systems. And it's like that first level of keeping your body from achieving that balance. So it's important. Everybody asks me, can I skip it? Can I skip it? Can I skip it? There are people that can skip it. There are some recommendations, but that's probably going to come from a support situation. It's really important to use the tool the way it was intended and eventually work through this. Maybe you work through it once a year and maybe you go back and revisit. But so our recommendation here is airways, skip a day or two, depending on your personal response. If a detox response occurs, you can play Herx Help up to twice a day. So again, a lot of us know this, but just to give people an idea, what does a Herx feel like? It could very well be a manifestation of the symptoms you're working on: fever, fatigue, aches and pains. Obviously, she needs a hot water bottle. They both got extra coffee in the morning. He's running a temperature. You don't feel your best self. So it's just an idea, more guidelines on general detox. And just to let people know the scope of what it looks like, starting with airways, we've got all these steps, possible 4 hits apiece. General detox is a commitment. AmpCoil is a commitment. It is a process, and patience is the key. So you really want to keep going. Lots of patience. You're going to keep going. Did I mention it takes patience? That was my attempt at humor in this presentation. Finally, we're ending with 5 steps of restorative journeys to prepare you for cleansing. So these 5 nourishing journeys, again, which everybody asks me, they're like, can I skip that? I want to get to cleansing. Lori, can you talk about these 5 nourishing journeys? Because you had a great point about this the other day when we did this live.
Okay, so basically, with our formulas, we know that for most people, 4-time formula works. The Nourish formulas, that they have a lot of nourishing general codes that work on all systems of the body. Particularly, there's a lot of glutathione in them. There's a lot of liver support. So it's really important to just keep to repeating these, so that you get a little more, 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 and then your body realizes, oh yes, this is how it's supposed to be, and then it sets the perfect pathway to starting on cleansing.
And remember, you've been through 24 steps of these gentle cleansing journeys, possibly 4, 1, 2, 3 times, whatever your body needed. So it's time to give yourself a little break before you move into that cleanse. So again, just to put it in a calendar, because sometimes it's hard to visualize. You're like, it's so overwhelming to think of 4 and then 2 Herx Help and then yada, yada, yada. But just to see it on a calendar, so day 1 could be nutrition. Day 2 could be harmonizer. Then we got a day off. Then we're to positivity. We're going to try a brain reboot. Day off. We're going to go back and do that step nutrition again. What are our notes? Now we're on to general detox. So step 1, airways, day off. Step 2, brain, day off. Step 3, brain 2, day off. And then we're to circulation. We're moving right along. No responses yet. And all of a sudden on Sunday, you've got some fever and fatigue. So you rung Herx Help. That Monday, going back on the path, you're going to hit Herx Help again before you do that repeat of circulation. Tuesday, you're back with fatigue, and you're going to run Herx Help again. And then you're going to front load that Wednesday Herx Help, repeat circulation. So again, this is not a Bible. This is just an example of one way you could work through it and put it on a calendar. But I do think laying it out in a format is helpful so you don't get overwhelmed and you do stay on course when you get off. Because there's a lot of people I talk to that just don't make it through general detox. And again, so like I know Lori says, that this is not a regulatory thing, but it's just a guide. But generally, everybody's going to get through GD, and most people will be able to move through the entire protocol. And the important thing is not to get discouraged. And general detox, again, as we said, is preparing that body for more intense cleansing codes. and it's highly recommended to keep moving. We're almost done here. We got 10 more slides. I want to finish this. You guys might be bored. I'll know when I turn the mics back on because I can only see Kathy and Laura laughing. What if I need extra assistance? Support's got your back. So I just want to cue everybody in. How awesome is that picture of Lori Marcus, by the way? That's a Broadway pose. If you hadn't noticed. So support has 3 ways to connect. Number 1, it's the help center at AmpCoil.com. Number 2, it's talk with us on the tablet. Number 3, it's the phone messaging service. And again, we go into the help center. Everybody on the call knows this. We hit submit a request, but this is an important piece. Write what's going on, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a general detox step, a cleanse question, it's a light, whatever it is, submit that request. And then I want you to go back in periodically and click on your profile name, hit the My Activities window, because you got to follow up. You should get an email alert when you get a response, but it's always a good idea. We often have people say, hey, nobody responded to me, but it's very possible that the status of your inquiry has been responded to. So I can go back in, I can check all these notes of things I've submitted with support. And again, here I opened one up. So this is a question I had about lights running in a sound test. And that's our number 1. Number 2, obviously, the talk with us on the tablet, easy breezy. And number 3 is the call support. And you do have the option to call, but the faster and most effective are the help center and directly through the talk with us on the tablet. The big reason being, and why we do this, when we found this flow, is that limitations of calling the message center. We have time windows, we have phone tag, we have different time zones, and we can't remote access in. So remote access is very important for support to be able to use that team viewer and look at what's going on with your tablet. Recipes for success, tablet in hand, printed copy of the quick start and the operation manual, and an open time and an open mind. Ladies and gentlemen, we're done. That normally takes us about an hour, but just a good idea. Let's see what the comments say. They're all positive. Nobody said, Freddie, stop. This is too long. Stephanie says, Freddie, I did request recently, but never got email alerts with responses waiting. Is this an issue others have experienced? Lori, and Nicole might be on too. It is programmed to send you an email when support replies through the AmpCoil.com help center. Can you clarify that for us?
So yeah, you might want to check your spam and trash, and then just put the email in when you find it into your contact list, because that's what's happening. And if that doesn't work, then just let us know, and we'll dig a little deeper for you.
Wonderful. Oh, Marjorie Vega, you with these questions. How much, when will all versions of the hardware, software, and tablets be transitioned over to 7.0? Jackie, do you want to take that one?
Sure. So we now have a release version of 7 on the Tab A for 3.0 devices. The next thing that we're going to be doing, starting immediately, is to make sure that we get the levels right for the AmpCoil tablet on 3.0 devices, because we know that we're really close with the Tab A as we've been testing with 3.0. Following that, we're going to be moving to Samsung tablets across 2.0, because that's the next largest user base. And this choice actually came from the feedback that we got from all of you on the last call. So we're working to qualify that and make sure that we have it ready for the greatest number of users next. And we anticipate and are hoping that we're actually quite close. We don't expect it to take a long time. If you are a Samsung user with the 2.0, as soon as that one's ready, we will roll it out and let you know that it's coming. Following that, it'll be the Asus users. I am one of those. I have both the 3.0 with an AmpCoil tablet. I also have a 2.0, and I actually use that really frequently. It's the one that I use in my home with an Asus tablet. And that will be the next one that we do consistently. What we're looking to do is make sure that the EQ levels are correct, coming out of the tablet. The software has been completely rewritten. So it's a parsed version, which means that it's not dependent on any of the Google services, which allows us to create a much more consistent output to the user. For those who have had their devices for a long time, my guess is you're going to feel that it's like coming home. It's kind of similar to returning to that consistency that was there initially. So that will roll out next, and then after that, the smallest number of users will be doing both tablet versions with the tracker. And the little bit that I can tell you is that, for those of us that have devices, every once in a while we'll get a download or ask to test, just make sure that everything functions properly, and it feels really good. Software feels really good. These are minor changes to make sure that what we give you is something that you're absolutely going to love.
Jackie, can I add to that?
Sure.
I know what everybody wants. We can't give you an exact time because, if it goes smoothly, what I can say and what we can say probably is it's so close I can taste it.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means, it's just, we can't say next week because something may happen between now and next week when we are testing. We can't say 3 weeks, or we could say 3 weeks and then, beat all expectations, but it is very, very, very close. How's that?
Yeah, I would agree. That's been my experience of it as well.
Yeah.
And, the one thing that I would say, again, huge respect and thanks to the team in California, because there are power outages in Nevada City. There are evacuation notices. It's been really, really challenging. And this team has just found a way to continue to find Wi-Fi and power and keep working to move this forward. And
Jackie, let me just say that Geneva slept on my couch for 3 days while she was testing and working on volume controls. So we're doing everything that we possibly can, and I loved having her here, but, it's still, I'm an hour and a half away. So we're committed. We should be committed. Or commit us.
Or we should be committed. I got a question, and maybe Kathy can answer this. I don't know if there's another person on the call who's doing rentals right now. How much do you recommend charging for renting a machine a month? Does anybody have a bearing on this? That's from Sarah.
Are you asking me?
We could ask you.
Oh, I haven't really rented it. I've loaned it to a few people here and there. What I consider doing is similar to what I would charge them if they were coiling at my place.
For how many times a week?
Yeah. So, if you're doing 3 times a week, right? And they basically, I charge $500 for 10 sessions. So, it's, I personally think $1,000 is a lot of money for a month. I know that some people charge that. I don't think that I would feel comfortable charging that. But somewhere in that 500 to, I don't know, 750.
That's what I've seen on Facebook. That's what I've seen that people are
making
charging.
a comment that is helpful. So just to remember that when you do rent, that it includes your support as well, because whoever you've rented to, you're the owner. So you're going to be training them on how to use the device, and you're going to be supporting them and maybe being in touch with support for them. It's not a transfer of ownership. So it is important to make sure that whatever agreement you have clarifies specifically what you're willing to offer, how much support you'll give, or if you need to be compensated for doing more than what you're providing with the rental of the device.
And one more thing, Jackie. One more thing is that, take into consideration that if they turn around and after, a month with your support, they love it and they're going to purchase, then you're going to get paid in other ways as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do often have people call into acquisitions and support looking to be supported with rental devices. That's happened many times, and AmpCoil unfortunately can't do that. That's really on the responsibility of the person loaning out the device. So just, whatever your system is, if you're going to provide them with a manual, if you're going to provide them with a roadmap for coiling, I think it's good to set them up for success. But many people who rent devices do have that person go forward with, they're looking to purchase, they're looking to have a good experience with the technology. So I think that's helpful. And Allison Patnack, you said, I saw Allison Patnack on video for a second. Let's see if I can find her again. There she is. Oh, you're in front of the Golden Gate Bridge. How lovely. That's funny. So Allison says, are there going to be tablet swaps? Is that a good option, or all tablets, or just some or none? We don't need to do tablet swaps with version 7 because it's going to operate independent of Google. So that was kind of the big win there. Can we share your videos with them as renters? I think so. Jackie, what's your thought on that? Or Lori, better yet, because I mean, it becomes the question of, are you giving people a login into the help center to get to download a manual or to download a video?
You
actually don't.
Go ahead, Jackie.
I was just going to say, you never want to give anyone else your login. So if you rent out a device, you certainly don't want to say, hey, here's my login, go ahead onto the help center and interact as me. It's important that we know who we're talking to, and it's important that our customers who have agreements with us in place have access to information that the general public may not. And what I would say is that, Freddie's welcome presentation, that kind of video, or a video, the beautiful videos we have out of here's how to unbox and set up a device, or to make sure that your cords are plugged in properly, are fabulous. Podcasts are wonderful. But it's important to be clear that if you rent out a device, you do not want to give renters access to your account. You also never want to have a stranger or somebody who who's not you in any place where information is available or communication is transferred representing you. An important distinction.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Yeah, it's great advice. Lori, did you want to add anything to that?
I'm just not sure. I think we're going to have to discuss about whether that video would be able to be given out to ambassadors to use with anybody that they're training, or because we really want, we just can't, if people are renting, we can't take away from your support hours to train, new people every month when you're renting. So I think that's something Freddie will have to discuss, and Jackie will have to discuss, because it's very, very helpful for people. But then again, if they are renting, you're going to be working with them on a different level, because if they're using that video, that's set up for 3-4 months down the road. And so I think you're better off to use that as your barometer of what you can tell them to do when they call you each week and say, okay, go here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
And then from Dawn, are the recommendations changing for acute situations such as head cold, chest cold, or pain in terms of how often they can be used, and only coiling 3 times a week? Just to that, I'll let Lori bookend off the back of this, but our one quote that the AmpCoil is pretty simple and the body is complicated. So I would say one caveat is going to be when you call into support, Dawn, they're going to listen to what's going on with you and how your body is reacting to frequency, and give you what you can take and what you can handle, and guide you through that week. And then the other thing is the 3 times a week was only that recommendation that said only cleansing journeys 3 times a week. It's not that you couldn't do other things to support the body, rebalancing the bioterrain that would help the cold. So it might be a mix of that.
Right. And so let me add to that. The new cold journey is now 45 minutes, and it also includes viral. So it hasn't up to now, and we've been telling people do the cold, and then if you don't get better, add virus. So you can do that 2 times a day for 2 days, so a total of 4 times. That part hasn't changed. It's just gotten a little longer. Pain, you can do pain as often as you want. Just remember, pain is a Band-Aid. And, it works for acute situations, but it's just like taking an aspirin. You take an aspirin, you start with 1 and then you do 2, and then the next thing you know, you need 6 before it works. So get to the situation or what's causing that pain. And, again, Freddie said it's not coiling 3 times a week, it's cleansing. You need to let the jello set, guys. You need to listen to your body. So you don't want to be doing 1 general detox every day and not giving the body chance to feed back and to do things on their own, and to take that time, which is sometimes 24 to 72 hours, to balance out and to feel those frequencies. You hit a toning fork and it reverberates for a while. Well, your body is like that toning fork. So you're going to hit it with frequencies, and it's going to, vibrate and vibrate. And everybody's different, so you don't know how long that vibration is going to last. But that's what's reminding the body of what needs to be done. And, you wouldn't want to be on a heart-lung machine forever, because your heart and lungs will never work. That's a grandiose description, but it's kind of like the same thing. So.
And then this one from Marjorie, maybe you can answer. I think we've done this one before. When volume, what volume would one use in acute injury situation, since there'll be no high in the 7.0?
General. So the general volume puts out the frequencies at the highest frequency that can be put out, the European standards, and I don't remember what the board is, but and it's not so much the power, it's the frequency and how they're delivered. And we've talked about this for a long time, and it's been kind of something harder to explain to people. But when the body is in balance, it doesn't matter about the power. It matters about the frequencies and how they resonate within the body.
Beautiful.
Hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
And so what's the sweep directions changing for acute situations? I'm not sure what this,
do you mean in a creating a journey?
Yeah. Nancy, could you be a little clearer on that one?
Well, it seems like for a sweep, you would use the organ primer and then go into, gosh, I can't even remember now.
Oh, okay, I got you.
You know what I mean?
You're talking about the cleanse, and you're talking about the, you're talking about an abbreviated session, basically. And I'm glad you're bringing this up, because the abbreviated sessions up to now have been, you go into the organs and the organ album, and you do the primer, because it was a little more effective than the primer in the cleanse. The good thing about the new program, and we're going to get into this a lot more once it comes out, but the good thing about the new program is that the primer now includes organs, it includes nutrition, it's much more in tune with the body, so that you could, now when you open up the cleanse album, it is truly an album. You don't have to go outside to do a primer anyplace else. You do the primer there, you pick what you want, you pick your songs from that album, and you hit play. So we've been able to adapt the primer in the cleanse so that it works better for an all-around balancing. And I'll tell you what, when you try that primer and you try those 3 new boosts, that in itself is a great tuning program for anybody. So you're going to love it.
Beautiful. Well, that was our last question. Do we have anybody else that wants to add?
So can I clarify then, if I want to run a sweep for a cold sore, I would not go into the organ primer as I had before, but I would go to the cleanse primer, use the primer from the cleanse?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So you just open the cleanse, choose
right.
whatever item that you want from the A to Z library,
okay.
choose the primer, choose the item, choose the closing.
Okay.
The closing will already be chosen for you.
Sure.
So it's just going to make it a lot easier and more as an album as it should be.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, team. You'll be receiving an email very shortly with the promotion Jackie talked about. I think we're going to close it down. We'll open the mics up for everybody to say goodbye. But let's do right hand on heart. Let's do left hand on heart. Open up your mind for just a second. Okay, close your eyes. We're going to read a little inspired passage here about what's going on in the world. I thought this was really resonant. If everybody can hear this and just see how it shifts things inside. So there's fires surrounding us here in the city of angels and in California. Schools canceled, orange skies, dreaded smoke sent in the wind. Scorpio season is feeling deep in the fires, a reminder of the phoenix energy, a purging of old patterns to be reborn with new strength, dreaming of cottages with cozy fall weather, making soups, pies, living by candlelight, gathering with furry friends and beloved folks. All that seems like a different universe. So, for now, I'll wear my crystals and drink my clean water. The thirsty plants around my haven continue to work in my studio and pray for our scorched lands, that they are obviously representing the pitta imbalance of anger, fear, addiction, and greed. This is a good time to burn through old stories and replace with new ones. This is a good time to consider self-imposed karmic loops and burn them to bring on new neuro pathways. This is a good time to reflect as winter dawns upon us, so we can yet again replant in the spring. Namaste. Unmute all.
Namaste.
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 Thank
Good
you.
me.
Good job, you guys. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Lori.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,